Hello Internet! In this video we are going to look at one of the new legendary Pokemon released with the Crown Tundra, Regidrago, a very powerful signature move, but does it have anything else going for it? Let's find out. I'm going to show you some of the sets I've made for this Pokemon, some of the different ways I think it could potentially be used in VGC, and give you my overall pick at the end as well too. But let's have a look at what we've got to work with. We have got a Pokemon with a humongous HP stat. We've got decent offensive stats as well too, and with Dragon's Maw, we have got essentially a +1 boost to using dragon attacks, if it's physical or special. We've got a base 80 speed as well too, which is middling. It means it's maybe not fast enough to use in a fast mode. We'll see. Maybe not slow enough to use in a slow mode. We'll see. We'll talk through that. But we need to make use of this bulk. You know, the base 200 HP is pretty big. The defense and special offense stats are quite low, so it does kind of balance out the huge HP stat. It's not the bulkiest Pokemon, but it is very bulky still, so we need to make use of that somehow. But first of all, let's have a look at the moves Regidrago learns. Let's see what potential it has. These are what I've picked out to be the more viable moves Regidrago's got. I'll just look at the supporting and setup moves first, since that's a very small list. We've got Dragon Dance, and we've got Focus Energy that it could use potentially to set up. Reflect and Light Screen, I don't really see being used on Drago, but we've got quite a few attacks here. Now, we do have two very powerful dragon attacks in Dragon Energy, which is essentially a dragon version of Eruption or Water Spout, and we've got Draco Meteor as well too. But aside from that, on the special side as coverage, there's Ancient Power, there's Hyper Beam, that's about it really. It does have some physical options as well though. There is Dragon Claw for a reliable dragon physical attack. There is Hammer Arm, we've got Fire Fang, and we've got Thunder Fang as well too. So straight away we're seeing that there are some options for Regidrago. It doesn't necessarily have to be special, but let's have a look at the speed, because again, one of the first things I think about when EVing a Pokemon is how fast I want it to be, how slow perhaps I want it to be. This isn't like Regieleki, this isn't, ultra fast. We do actually have an option of being slow here. So here are some of the benchmarks that I think are probably more important for Regidrago, and this might be a little bit confusing, but they are kind of in reverse order of the amount of investment needed here. So first of all, it has got a base speed of 80. Metagross is a base speed of 70. I do think Metagross is going to be a very common threat in the metagame, so it makes sense, especially with an attack that does more damage the more HP you've got, it does make sense to perhaps be faster than Metagross. Metagross hits 134, so you could be plus speed nature with 180 EVs and you will be faster than Metagross. If you don't want to invest quite so much, now this might seem a bit strange, you can invest 220 EVs, which sounds like more, but without the nature boost. You don't have to be a plus speed nature, so just 220 EVs into speed, but you will need a +1 to be faster than Naganadel. That is the next benchmark that I've put there. And if you don't want to invest quite so much as well, but you still do want to outspeed Dragapult in Tailwind or a +2 speed, then you can just invest 52 EVs in speed. So I think these are maybe the best 3 options, or best 4 options, because there's one more coming up as well, that you might want to put your Regidrago at. It does have potential to be used slowly as well too. Now, it's not going to be underspeeding Amoonguss or anything quite that slow, unfortunately, in Trick Room, but if you do want to be slower than Rhyperior, which hits a speed of 40, you can go with no EVs, with no IVs, with a minus speed nature, and an Iron Ball, and you will hit a 38 speed stat. So if you did want to use it in Trick Room, there is some potential for it there. So let's have a look at some of the sets that I've made for it. First of all, we're just going to have a look at the special set. And we're going to have a look at the moves, then we'll have a look at EVs and calculations and stuff afterwards as well too. But I think for a straightforward special set, I think these are the best 4 moves. Protect makes sense, so you can maybe jiggle yourselves around to get into a better position for a Dragon Energy. Draco Meteor, so you're not bound to to just using Dragon Energy. And it would either be Ancient Power or Hyper Beam as the last move on there as well too. And I've just gone with Ancient Power because I think if you are not Dynamax and if you're not max HP and you don't want to lower your special attack, you don't really want Ancient Power as your only other option. Hyper Beam rather. You don't only want Hyper Beam as your only other option. Ancient Power does give you a reliable and accurate, decent way to hit stuff, without needing that, the turn afterwards to recharge. So these are the 4 moves that I've gone with. I have come up with a few different EV spreads for a moveset like this, though. So this is the first one, where we have the 180 speed, like I mentioned. Here we go on the speed page. There we go. Here is the 180 EVs. So this does outspeed Metagross. It means that if the opponent doesn't have anything faster than base speed of 70 on the field, you can, without any of your speed control, in full confidence, go for a Dragon Energy to, whack things off. But not like that, and to do a lot of damage with them. And we've got a lot of investment in special attack. Again, 146 doesn't look like a massive amount, but with the ability, the Dragon's more, that is going to be, quite a lot higher. It is actually going to be quite threatening. And I've gone with the Dragon Fang as the item here as well. For most of these, actually, I've gone with Dragon Fang as the item because I don't really see much use in many other items. Other items are viable, perhaps with, maybe a Citrus Berry or one of those 33% berries, perhaps. But since we're using Regidrago in quite an offensive way here, I think Dragon Fang makes the most sense, especially because we're doing more damage, most of our damage with the Dragon moves. So that's why I've gone with that. Instead of a Roselli Berry, I've instead just put this investment in special defense. The bulk here, the 4 HP and 108 special defense, survives a timid Tapu Lele Moonblast. But otherwise, this Pokemon will survive, almost any neutral max attack. It's a very bulky Pokemon, pretty bulky Pokemon with this HP stat. Fairy moves and Dragon moves are the only ones that are really going to be threatening it. And with this investment, you can take, a timid Tapu Lele Moonblast at least. Some of the calculations with this, and there is quite a few calculations in here, so I'm just going to, breeze through these if I can. So this is with the Dragon Maw boost and the Dragon Fang boost, Dragon Energy at full HP. I've put Dragonite here. I've put Dragonite as like the baseline sort of dragon calculation because any other dragon without multiscale obviously is just going to get knocked out to this. So multiscale, this is probably the bulkiest dragon you could come across. So if you do get the jump on it speed wise, a Dragon Energy will not quite knock the Dragonite out with the multiscale, but if you can break the multiscale, it will do. We've got the same attack actually into a Dynamax Dragapult, which does one-shot it, which is quite impressive. It doesn't one-shot a multiscale, normal-sized Dragonite, but will one-shot a no-bulk Dynamax Dragapult. That is quite an impressive calculation, really. We've got Dragon Energy again into a Moongus and in Dusclops at the bottom of these last 2 calculations, just as a bit of a baseline in a way, just so that you can try and gauge how much damage it does actually do. I always like to, try and calibrate, my mental calculations with calculations like this, because if you know it's going to do 60% to an Amoonguss, you can kind of calculate, how much it's going to do to other things as well. But this was the first one. The second spread that I've come up with is just a little bit different. We've got a little bit less speed. This is 107 speed stat, so with 52 invested, as you can see on this one. We're not going to be outspeeding max speed Metagross. We are not going to be outspeeding, Naganadel at +1 speed, but we are going to be outspeeding Dragapult in a Tailwind. So this set is maybe more tailored to teams that have got Tailwind support, but since we have got more investment in the special attack here, and we have got a bit more bulk as well too. In the last one, we had 108 in the special offense. This one we've got 180 in the special offense and more offense because we're afforded this from not having the such a high speed stat. The special offense here allows us to take a modest Tapu Lele Moonblast. So again, this Regidrago is going to take pretty much any neutral max attack. It is a pretty bulky Pokemon, and we've got a bit more offense here as well. But this set, without quite so much speed, does rely a bit more on speed control. So just a few calculations with this. We do expect them to be a bit more since we've got more of an investment. We're modest with this Regidrago. On the same Dragonite, there is actually a chance to one-shot it through the multiscale, which is quite impressive. And then we've got Amoonguss, and Dusclops, again, just to sort of calibrate how much damage it will actually do. Obviously, I'm not including, Max Wormwind against dragons and stuff, because we know it will one-shot. It's just going to knock out, anything that is weak to dragon, isn't it? So no point in including those. The third one down, I did include the Max Wormwind here on a typical Amoonguss, I would imagine. It doesn't quite get the knockout there, unfortunately, but it is interesting to see. And again, the Max Wormwind on the Dusclops, a typical Dusclops at the bottom as well. Again, doesn't quite knock it out, but it's interesting to see how much damage it's going to be doing. Now, the next one I've got going here is a weakness policy set, which I think is this. This is the same EVs as the first one, I think. Yeah, that's the first set. This is the third set, but with a weakness policy. So again, this is the one that's faster than Metagross. The only difference is I put weakness policy on it over the Dragon Fang to be, intentionally to be activated by something like a Comfy's Draining Kiss, maybe a Sylveon's Quick Attack, something like that. So here's just a few calculations with that. I believe I've calculated this correctly with the Dragon's Maw and the weakness policy boost. You can see I have calculated all of these with a base power of 114 for the Dragon Energy as well, because that's just on the highest roll possible from a 0 special attack Draining Kiss from Comfy, essentially, if that's how you're going to be setting up. And, again, I've not included any dragon calculations here, because at +2, obviously it's going to be one-shotting any kind of dragon. But I've included some different calculations here. We've got a couple of Incineroar calculations. So base power of 114, Dragon Energy does, a good amount of damage, 70% to Incineroar. The Max Wormwind with the weakness policy boost will just one-shot in Incineroar, which is always a good thing to have. An Assault Vest Rillaboom, just the Dragon Energy, 140 base power, again does a lot of damage. And against the Amoonguss, again it does about sort of 70-odd%. So with the +2, it doesn't one-shot things unless you Max Wormwind. So that's, I guess, why I've included these calculations. It's not maybe as powerful as you might imagine at +2 with these big attacks, but with Max Wormwind at +2, yes, you are going to be one-shotting things. So that was the special set, the straightforward special set with these 3 different EV variations. But the next set I'm going to show you is a slow set, and the only difference really is that I've put Hammer Arm here over Ancient Power, because with a spread like this, you can essentially be mixed. We've got the same special attack investment as the second set that I showed you, 244 plus, and we've got the same bulk, essentially, of 180 special defense there as well. So again, this Regidrago survives a modest Tapu Lele Moonblast, but we have got some attack investment on this as well too, to go with the Hammer Arm. We have got the Iron Ball on this set as well too. This is a slow set. We have got Iron Ball on here, so you can see we will reach a speed stat of 38, so we will be slower than Rhyperior, but we won't quite be slower than Mudsdale. We won't be slower than Amoonguss. We won't be slower than the Ice Horse as well, unfortunately. So it can't quite be that slow, but it can still function potentially reasonably well in Trick Room. Here are some calculations. Obviously, these don't have the Dragon Fang boost on them because our item is taken up with the Iron Ball, so these are not doing quite so much damage. So again, here's the baseline against that same multi-scale Dragonite. Again, with the Dragon Energy at full power here, doesn't quite one-shot it. Max Wormwind will one-shot it, so, if you're Iron Ball, maybe catching things off guard, Max Wormwind will get it. And here's a couple of Hammer Arm calculations as well, too. With that bit of an attack investment, you will two-shot Stack Attacker, and you will 3-shot a Heatran if you hit the Hammer Arms. Where otherwise, if you're only using Dragon Attacks, or if you've only got Ancient Power or whatever, you're not really going to be doing damage like this. So the Hammer Arm is a good alternative. It's a good option to have on the slow one, especially because after one Hammer Arm, yes, you will be underspeeding. The Amoonguss, you will be underspeeding. The things that will be slower. So it kind of works. Not the most powerful attack with Hammer Arm, especially because it doesn't get the Dragon Maw boost to it, obviously. But still, it's a decent coverage option for a slow Regidrago there. So, special set, slow set. The next set I'm going to show you is the physical set. Now, I quite like this, actually. We're not using, in this set, we're not using Regidrago's signature move, unfortunately, Dragon Energy, but we have got Dragon Claw, which is going to be boosted with the ability. We've got Fire Fang, which actually is pretty nice for this set, I think. We've got Dragon Dance to boost our stats, you know, our attack and speed, and Protect as well, too, which is always a good move to have. But Fire Fang is quite important here because Dragon, you know, there's a lot of steel types in the format. You know, Dragon is resisted by steel. So, you know, anything like a Ferrothorn or a Celesteela, anything in that vein, you know, a Corviknight, whatever, it would essentially just wall this Pokemon otherwise. But with Dragon Dance and Fire Fang, you know, with the potential to max it, you can still threaten those Pokemon as well, and potentially catch them off guard as well, you know, where otherwise they might, you know, be sitting there knowing that Regidrago has got quite a limited moveset and might not be expecting a max flare from it. So, for a physical set like this, I would probably go with a spread a bit like this. Now, this is not quite as fast as the fast one that I showed you. It's not faster than Metagross, because I don't think it's quite so important to outspeed Jolly Metagross here, since there's no Dragon Energy. You know, you will be able to take an attack from it. It doesn't matter if you take damage first, because, you know, your moves, you know, don't... yeah, they're not decided by how much HP you've got on this set. Gone back to Dragon Fang as well too, just to put a bit of extra damage on the Dragon Claw, since, you know, I think Dragon Claw is better than Outrage on a set like this, just for a bit of you know, reliability. But the 220 investment there into speed, the 128 speed stat means that at +1 speed, i.e. after one Dragon Dance, you will be faster than Naganadel, which... I know it's probably not the most common Pokemon, but, you know, being that fast and also being faster than something like Inteleon, being faster than Cinderace, you know, just the option to be, you know, that fast after one Dragon Dance is pretty good, I think. So, I think the speed investment makes sense here. And we are adamant, you know, we have got a plus attack nature here this time. With only 84 investment, we did get the bump at 143, but 144 is a nice even number, so that with a Dragon Dance, you do get, you know, an extra stat that you would if it was 143. So 144 are like that. And we've got the same special defense as most of the other sets that I've shown you as well too. Again, so to survive a modest Tapu Lele Moonblast. Especially it makes sense, you know, for this set to be a bit bulky, because you know, you want to be setting up. You know, you want to be Dragon Dancing. So the longer you can stick around, you know, the more threat, the more damage you are, you know, potentially going to be putting out to the opponent there. So it does make sense for this to be a bit of a bulkier set as well, but. I do like sets like this that are fast, have the potential to be faster, and are also quite bulky as well too, with the option to, you know, raise your attack. Obviously, this set does have to worry a little bit more about intimidates as well too, but there are lots of Pokemon to, you know, perhaps dissuade your opponent, you know, put them off from bringing their intimidate Pokemon. But still, it is a threat that the special set doesn't have to worry too much about. Here are some calculations. So these are a little bit different. These are the physical calculations, and all of these calculations are at a +1 attack. So these are calculations after a Dragon Dance. Now, this is the same Dragonite that we've done all the other calculations against. This poor Dragonite. So a +1 Dragon Fang, Dragon Claw. So this isn't Dynamax at this point. Just a +1 Dragon Claw has got the chance to one-shot Dragonite, you know, if it doesn't Dynamax, through its multi-scale, which is fantastic, which means, you know, if you can break its multi-scale, then you will just one-shot it. The Max Wormwind on the same Dragonite next, again, we can see, you know, +1 will one-shot it, again, if you break the multi-scale. Oh, actually, yeah, that's with them. Wow, that's powerful. Wow, that is powerful. kind of, yeah, got myself there. Look at that. That's powerful, isn't it? A multi-scale Dragonite. Oh yeah, it's not Dynamax, is it? Yeah, okay, I'm being silly. So yeah, that's not a Dynamax. That's not a Dynamax Dragonite. That's just a multi-scale Dragonite. See, if they did Dynamax again, you would not be knocking them out. But if you can break their multi-scale, then you will still knock them out when they are Dynamaxed as well too. Next calculation, again, just a bit of a baseline, +1 max Wormwind on a Dusclops. It's nice to know how much, moves like this do. It do about sort of 3/4, 75-ish%. And I've just put one calculation down here as well too with the max flare, so from Firefang at +1 on a Celesteela as well. And it would do, again, about 3/4, just over, about 80% to a Celesteela, which is good damage. And you have to imagine, yes, it would one-shot a Ferrothorn as well too. But really good damage on the Celesteela when all of these other Regidrago sets would not be able to touch it. Obviously, max flare power of 120, not the highest, but it's the fact that it is fire typing. The coverage is really, really good here. So I do like this set. We've had the special set, we've had the slow set, we've had this physical set here. I think there might be some option for a mixed set with maybe Dragon Energy overprotect on that last set. So you can perhaps, if it's possible to Dragon Dance, raise your speed, and yes, you're going to be doing more damage with your Dragonclaw and Firefang, but with the raised speed, you could potentially, Dragon Energy things as well too. For a mixed set like that, I would imagine you'd maybe go hasty, you maybe have a kind of a spread like that. This just takes the timid Lele Moonblast, but it is faster than the max speed Metagross this set, just because you've got Dragon Energy again, and it probably is better to be a bit faster with Dragon Energy, I would imagine. Unless you're going super slow. And we've got a bit of a split here between attack and special attack to throw some damage out from various different ways as well. But I haven't done any calculations with this mix set. I don't really think it would be that good. So I've been going on a little bit. I'm just going to show you my pick then. Out of all of these sets, if I was going to try Regidrago for the first time, I think I would probably go with this, actually. Now, I do like the special sets. I think Dragon Energy is a very interesting move, and yes, I would definitely, want to try it out with Tailwind, with good speed control, a fast Airstream user next to it, with Dragon Energy, and a Dragon Fang is going to do a lot of damage. I think that's brilliant, but I think this Dragon Dance set is potentially going to be a little bit overlooked, and I think it can catch people off guard as well too. So I think there's quite a bit of mileage potentially in a set like this. So that's the EVs. That's the spread that I think I would. I'm gonna plump my all of my eggs in the basket of for now. But obviously it can be used in a couple of different ways. It's not the most flexible Pokemon. Again, a bit like Regieleki, but it has got a few options, a few different ways it can be used. This is the way that I think I would try first, though. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Lots of different sets and ways potentially to use this Pokemon that you might have initially thought was a bit one-dimensional. It is a little bit one-dimensional, but maybe it's got a few more options than you might have initially thought. But there you go. That is how I would use Regidrago. These are the sets. These are the different ways, different EVs that I would probably try with it first. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you very much for joining me. Goodbye for now.